All that I'll see. All right. Hello, everybody. Let me get all of my settings set up here where I can see me and see you all. Get the chat window opened up. Okay. Hey, hello, and welcome to my office. Like this is uh this is where I get to hang out and do my online coaching calls, and so I'm wanting to add some new fun to where I can jump online and hang out and chat and talk with you guys and just maybe have some questions, talk about some things that are just kind of coming up for me, and that's the reason how we got the topic for today's call was about the Ferrier. Just I had a client reach out that was having trouble with their horse about the Ferrier, and I was like, "Ooh, good. Let's have a chat about that on Sunday." And so I take the opportunity, like, you know what? Let's talk about that. What's happened with the Ferrier? What goes right? What goes wrong? When do what starts causing the problem? So today we'll have a fun conversation and talk about that, just kind of what we can do as horse owners to help our horses have a better experience with the farrier, with the vet, really with anything that we're doing with our horse. I'm just using the farrier today as a topic, as something very specific that might grab some of you and be like, "Ooh, yeah, that's something I want to know about or question about." And some of you might be farriers, and you might be in here to kind of check out and hear what my perspective is, or what it is that I'm talking about with the farrier. First off, I view it as our responsibility as the horse owners. It's our responsibility to prepare our horse for the vet, right? It's our responsibility to prepare a horse for everything that we're going to ask our horse to go and do. It's not, my farrier's responsibility when he shows up to train my horse to be good for him, or train my horse so that my horse knows how to handle that level of pressure or that stimulus. So I like to keep things very accountable, that us horse owners, we are accountable for literally everything with our horse. Like, it's our job to handle that and get in there. So hey, John, I'm seeing you on the call, my friend. Thank you
I'm
for
figuring out how to make it work.
Oh, hey, good. You got your audio good, John, man. Welcome. Glad to have you. I tried to reach out to you. We missed each other a few times, but I'll look forward to getting on the phone with you, my friend. Catch up.
Yeah, I always enjoy seeing you when I get down to southern Utah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I bet you'd enjoy seeing now. I understand you're just getting some weather up north, and it's been kind of yucky. So,
Yeah, it's raining right now,
well,
which is better than what it was last week with snow.
that's what I gather. So, well, awesome. Glad to have you, John, and glad to have everybody else on here too. This is kind of a new thing that I'm doing, so I don't really have like a precedence of what these calls are going to be like. Just each one that I do, I kind of improve it a little bit, or I change something, or I add a little something more to how I want it to go. But I want to keep it about an hour, and you guys, if you got to go, you got to go. You take off whenever you need to, but I'd hope that I can have some valuable information, have something to keep you around a little bit that we can chat and talk. So what we're going to do today, I actually shot a little bit of video and talking about how things kind of go with our farrier, and how that situation kind of plays out. So I want to play this video for you. It's about a 20-minute long video, kind of the setup and some of the problems that I see with the farrier. And then afterwards, after the video's over, I would love to have some open dialogue and just kind of have some conversation about what you thought in the video, what you saw, what made sense to you, or maybe any little aha moments, or any questions or thoughts that you might have. So let me see who all is on here, though. I can reach out and kind of say hi here. So I already said hi to John, and I'm just looking through to see those that I know. Lauren Harwood, are you on from Durango? She sent me a text message last week. She's one of my youngest young people that I love working with our horse. So, Lauren,
Hi,
hello.
Wes.
You are there, Lauren. Hi.
And
Good.
Mom's sitting here next to us.
Oh, well, awesome. Hello, you guys. How is everything out in Durango?
It's wet and muddy.
Wet and muddy. Oh man, Lauren. Well, and probably down out where your house is, it's really muddy because you're right there along the side of the river. You get all kinds of water right there, the rain. So, well, Lauren, thanks so much for jumping on the call today and being here for me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I will check back in with you. We'll talk afterwards, okay, Lauren, if you've got some questions.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Looking through another name I recognize on there, my buddy Mike Milroy. Mike, did you make it on, dude? You just barely got in the call. I'm kind of calling you. You just probably barely got in here, but
Yeah, I just made it in.
all right, Mike. Mike up in Eagle Valley, Eagle Mountain, Utah. You getting any snow, or are you just getting the rain like everybody else?
Got rain the other day, or snow the other day. Now we're kind of getting a little rain.
Oh, well, thank you, Mike, for jumping on. We missed you last week and glad to have you this week. So thanks for joining us, my friend.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Well, I'm really wanting these to be just kind of some fun conversations, and it's a good place for me to kind of get the nerves out too. It's kind of a thing to sit here and broadcast out to a whole bunch of people anywhere in the world. Like it just kind of feels a little awesome and a little intimidating all at the same time. So I'm just having some fun doing it. But let's go jump into this video and play this video on kind of a little bit of a setup of what kind of can happen with our horse and why they struggle with having the farrier work done, or just kind of the setting that work's being done in. And then we'll talk about it after that. So is that cool with everybody? Let's check out the chat window. You guys see the chat window over there? Just jump in and say hello or something to me. Let me just see. I got a few of you connected to the chat window that you can say hi in there, and it should show up for everybody to see. And if you, matter of fact, if you'd like, jump on there and tell me where you're from, where you're at right now while you're on this call. Oh, and I see Tiffany is on. Hey, Tiffany, been a little while. Hi, you guys. I don't know who all you got with you, Tiffany, if you got the girls with you, but hello, everybody. I'm not seeing anything.
It's me and Sophie.
Oh, there you are. Now I see you. Hello. Good to have you guys. How you guys are in Eagle Mountain too? You guys and Mike are like neighbors, kind of, sort of.
No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know quite where you guys are at from each other, but you're over there in the same area. So watch out for each other. Maybe you can say hi passing or something. Or if you see a loose horse, you'll know who to call.
There we go.
Oh, well, awesome. Thanks for joining for sure. Thank you. Okay, yes, I'm seeing the chat window on there. Tennessee. Joanne is on from Southern Tennessee. Hello, Joanne. Great to have you on and say hi. Oh, my lovely wife says she's on in Washington. She's sitting right over there. She's right here. All right, let's go play a video and then after this video, I want to have some conversation with you guys. So if you're nervous right now about talking to me, don't be. And we'll chat after this video and just talk a little bit about kind of what you saw in the video and what's going on there. So give me just a minute to get this all set up. A little bit of some technology.
Getting so high tech in this.
Oh, let's see, Mike. Let me get you muted. Okay. There you go. We'll mute everybody so we don't have any crosstalk going on in there. All right. We're going to do this and share the screen. You guys should be impressed with my technical capabilities. I'll tell you what, it took me a while to figure out how to do all of this. Okay, let's play this for a minute and then we'll chat after this is finished up. Okay, we want to talk about getting your horse ready for the farrier, right? It's a thing, right? We have issues with our farrier, with the horse being good for the farrier. One of the first things I want to point out, I want to bring up to you guys is that, when we take our horse to the farrier, like where we're going to go get them out of the corral and go where, where do you go to have the horse trimmed or have the farrier work done? Generally, or I'm betting that the place that you go to might not be the horse's best, most comfortable place. So like we brought Indy, we're going to work with Indy right here. This isn't her space. Like her corral is, down a few rows. And so we brought her all the way over here where she's in a new space. So let's just pretend that the farrier was parked here. And this is where he said, bring me your horse. I'm parked for there. And, we'll do the work. Well, look at Indy right now. She's not really comfortable just being here. And then we're going to add another strange person coming in, to do his job, the farrier, right? It's not his job to train our horses. It's his job to, get the farrier work done. So, oh wow, check this out. Like, that's kind of cool. Had a whole flock of geese just fly right over us. So the point I wanted to bring up, bringing your horse to go have vet work done or farrier work done or whatever, brushing, tacking, grooming. If you haven't got your horse relaxed being with you anywhere, then when you take your horse somewhere that's a new place, right, the horse is going to get upregulated, kind of like Indy is right now. And this might be very similar to pretend that you're out on a date at a restaurant, right? You're with your most special person, and it happens to be your birthday, right? And so what happens? Your special person always kind of sneaks and tells the staff, hey, it's his birthday today, because you want to get the free ice cream and cake. And so then what? The whole staff comes over, right? And they're singing you happy birthday. And the whole time they're doing that, it's like fun. You're like, yeah. But you're also like, oh my gosh, everybody's looking, right? And you get that internal nervousness and your system starts to upregulate and you're like, oh, well, it'll be over as soon as they're done singing. So you think. Imagine that after everybody's done singing and all the staff goes back to the working the tables, your waitress slides a chair over by you and says, hey, birthday person, climb up on this chair and tell everybody in the restaurant about your birthday and tell everybody, something unique and special about you. What happens on the inside as soon as she says, stand up on this chair in front of everybody? That's what cortisol and adrenaline feels like, right? You're like, oh no, not me. No, I'm fine. It's not even really my birthday. It was actually yesterday, but she said it was my birthday so we could get the free ice cream and cake, right? We're a no, right? Because we got put under pressure that we weren't ready for, right? It happened. You don't have the ability to self-regulate and just handle that right now. That's called self-regulation. So that's what's happening to our horses when we take them into a new space and have something new happening. I mean, they get their farrier work, that's not necessarily new, but it's in a new space. They're upregulated, anxious, like worried. So getting our horses calm and confident wherever we're going to have those type of things done, basically anywhere, right? That's where we want to have our horses be calm and relaxed with us. So I'm going to go over with Indy and I'm just going to pretend like I'm the farrier and I got a job to do and I'm getting paid X, right? I'm getting paid a flat fee. So the longer that I'm here, the less profitable this experience is, for me as a farrier. Now I want to do a good job and I want my client to be happy, but I also have, 7 more clients today. So I'm going to kind of just cruise in there and see how this goes. I already got my tools laying over in the dirt. She's already got dirt on them, but all right, let's go. So, right, I'm sure any good farrier wants to take a moment and try to, have a connection with the horse or try to have something. So, I might come in and like, hey girl, oh, good girl. Nice. All right, let's pick up this back leg. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, give me that leg. Yep, yep. Oh, oh, leaning. Oh. All right, now I've got the foot, but she's pretty tight. Let me see if I can. Oh, she's hanging on to it so tight. Like, look at her lean. Like I'm trying to get under, and she's like, "No, that ain't happening." There we go. I'm gonna bail on that. She's like, "No, that ain't happening." Right? She's tense. Just watch the way she picks her feet up. So, just this experience alone is causing her to be stressed and anxious, which is stacked on top of stress and anxious just being here, which is tacked on top of stress and anxious because her BFF is, 10 stalls down. And so we're just trigger stacking, right? And then I'm the Ferrier kind of guy coming in like, that's okay, girl. Yeah, just give me that foot and let me try to get in here and I try to get under her. Oh, okay, I'm gonna take that. That's all I can get right now. Try to hustle in here and get this done. Oh, she's leaning on me. Okay, I got that picked out. Oh, oh, all right, there we go. Oh, girl, let's just go right to this one. Oh, give me this one. Oh, go. Let me try to get a hold of it. Right, I want to get in here and get this job done because I got, 8 or 9 or 10 more horses to do today. My point is that, right, like I'm probably not going to be as slow and as smooth as I might be if I was preparing this horse, right? Because I'm trying to get a job done because I got things to go. Oh, look at her moving. All right, give me this foot. Oh, there we go. See if I can get underneath this one. Nope, she's a pulling. Nope, she's a pulling some more. Let me just try to get a hold of it. Oh, 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 now she's leaning on me. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll hurry up, try to get this done. All right, let's get this other foot. There we go. She's really being really pretty good, other than she's really tight, like she's pulling this leg up, not relaxed necessarily. Okay, got that one. Oh, 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 here she goes. We're just gonna file down some of the top edges, but you see how that she's not here. She's not comfortable away from her friend necessarily, from her stallmate. She's not super comfortable with me kind of hustling around in there. Now she's not really blowing up or pulling back. We could have that with another type horse, but I'm just wanting to show the point that getting our horses relaxed and getting them comfortable in the environment first has huge value. So I'm going to take a few moments and just really work with her to get her relaxed and just let her kind of have a heads up of what's going on. See if I can't just get her way more calm and quiet, and then we'll go try to do some filing. So give me a few minutes and I'm going to hang out and try to just get her calmed down and we'll do all this again. Supposed to be some music playing, but apparently there's not. But anyway, we'll run through some fast forward here, but I'm just going through and just getting her comfortable with being touched, everywhere that we're going to touch, and just really getting her feeling comfortable with all of that we're doing. Just took you through just little relaxing exercises and things that we use. Online coaching program, make sure it's relaxed. So we just took 15 minutes, check in. Got her disconnected without her leg. Quiet. So you guys, us as horse owners, we can do this with our horses before the farrier gets there.
Hey, Wes, the volume is super low for us.
Wherever we're meeting the farrier, maybe we spend a half hour. How about now? Is that a little better? I just realizing the audio didn't go like I wanted it to, but so that we can have this type of a horse to work with.
Yeah,
instead
that's
of
better.
right out of
Okay.
hand, walking them away, getting them over here, and they're all stressed and anxious. So I'm gonna go a little slower this time and just work with her. I'm not really trying to trim her feet or do anything. I'm just gonna go through the motions of it. And so, but I just want to ask her. So instead of me picking up her feet, like me grabbing and pulling, I'm going to give her a specific cue, and I want her to hand me her foot, or I want her to lift it up on my cue. That's an entirely different feeling for your horse than when you rub your hand down, and if they're picking that leg up out of fear, they're like, "Ooh, what's touching me?" That's your horse saying, "I got stress and worry inside," and then we're gonna have to deal with that all through the trimming. So I'm gonna just gently work with her and ask her, to hand me her foot rather than me just go down and take it. So get my lead rope set up here. Got my file. So I'm just gonna rub my hand down her leg all the way to the ground. And I just want to make sure that she's not lifting that foot out of anxiety, because that's what was happening earlier. As soon as I touch her leg, she was pulling it up. So I worked with her, we took that time and I just really relaxed her legs, got her used to the touch. And so now I'm going to give her a specific cue and just ask for her to hand me this foot. Beautiful. Now I'm going to be nice and soft, right? And just kind of come in here, be relaxed because she's relaxed. Let me get this foot in here. All right, that was really quite nice. I just did a little bit of filing. I'm just gonna set that down. And what I'm not gonna do is just head right to the next leg. Let me come out, hang out with her right here, like, let's take it down. Let's go back and relax. So I just want to have a little experience and then just get her to relax, get her back to calm and quiet. And then I'm going to go pick up this other foot. Jeez. There. I want to come in and just hang out right here at the hip and let her be okay with me standing here at the hip. She's already moving, so she's a little nervous me just being here. So we're going to slow this down. And then again, I want to rub this foot all the way to the ground. So I'm just going to wait for her to stop, because that's just her being anxious about me being back here. Good. There she stopped. Let's take it nice and quiet. Good girl. I'm just going to ask her. I want her to hand me this leg. So I'm just going to ask. There we go. Good girl. Nice. Thank you. Oh, oh. So she's kind of pulling. I'm just going to relax. I want to just let this foot relax all the way to the ground. Good. And then can I pick it back up? Start kind of touching her here. So I'm just going slow. Like I want to go at her pace. So this is good training, right? You guys can do this at home. This is just basic horsemanship, basic handling of your horse, getting them to where they're okay with these kind of things. Oh, good. All right, here we go. Got her foot. Got a ATV coming around. Nice. All right, feels like everything's still okay. Wow. Did you see it? Hey, I like how calm she is about that. Like that just happened. We're okay still. All right, I'm gonna get underneath here. Oh, Oh, she's still pulling, so we're gonna go back to relaxing. Good girl. Yeah, so just that ATV pulling up right there definitely caused, some anxiety, some stress. For me too. Like I heard it coming. I was like, oh, where's that thing coming from? What's gonna happen when it comes around the corner? I thought I'll score her a solid 9.5 on calmness. Like she did fantastic. Now, had she had that ATV come by while she was over tied to the trailer, still upregulated, stressed, and worried, that would have sent her even higher. Right. So getting this calm and quiet, we were at a much lower threshold, so she was able to handle that added pressure because we came down. If we'd have stayed up high and then the ATV comes by, boom, we go up to a problem. So love how that went. All right, I'm gonna just see if I can just kind of squeeze underneath here. There we go. Yeah, lead rope management, it's a thing. Well, get that where I want it here. I like it up here where if something happens, like I can pull, which will bump her nose to this side, which will make her hip go that way, should something happen. So I love to be in communication, having that ready. Okay, good. Good. Set that back down. Come up here with her. Let's just hang out, relax, reset. Let her just lick and chew. Hang out right here, nice and quiet. So, the problem with your horse at the farrier or with the vet, even with you, it isn't about the farrier or the vet. It is about you because you own the horse, right? Having the tools, having the connection that you can tune in, connect, relax with your horse, and just ask them to hang out and just be calm and quiet. Like, yeah, let's just do this, right? So practicing to have our horses be calm under pressure, then when the pressure hits, we can both perform the same way that we've practiced. So I love that ATV coming by. Like, I kind of wished I'd have set that up on purpose, but that was just random. And it just happened. So that was a great example of her being able to handle some added stress. Because had to come by when she was tied up over here, would have had something happen. So taking a few minutes, just getting your horse calm and relaxed makes a huge difference. So, I could practice doing this with my horse. Then when the farrier does show up, right, she's all kind of dialed in and relaxed and has already had her everything touched and loosened up and just kind of work. She can be much calmer, much better about it. So one thing I do have to say, and I'll leave this on here. A lot of times we have to use sedatives to drug the horse. It's not because the horse doesn't like being shod. It's because they're stressed and anxious. But what I just want to caution you and tell you to not ever, ever, never, ever, never let somebody put a twitch on your horse's nose. If your farrier offers to do that, fire him immediately and tell him to call me. Or I'll fire him. You call me and I'll fire him. I don't know. We're going way beyond any type of horsemanship at that point. We need to get the horse calm and quiet. We won't need the twitch and we won't need the drugs. I don't mind using a sedative. You got a dangerous horse to get done, but man, let's look at a long-term solution. Let's get this going on. Let's get your horse relaxed. So awesome. That's what we got for you today for our trainers teaching time or whatever we're going to call this. I don't know. All right. Okay, you guys. The audio kind of messed up right anyway. I didn't get that edited quite right, or I didn't check it, but the audio anyway. Talk to me though. Let's have a conversation. What did you see? What did you notice? Just if there's a way you can go in and just, I don't know if we've got that many of us on here. I think if somebody's got something to say, just open up your mic and say hello and let's just kind of chat a little bit. But I'd like to take a few minutes and just visit. What did you see? What did you notice? Questions, thoughts, anything in there?
Well, I noticed, you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, John. Go ahead.
I trim my own horses. So
Okay.
I go through that same process on a one-on-one. I don't have somebody to help hold the horse. And so I've had to go through some of those same uh, experiences of here's an excited horse. How do I get it to calm down? Because there's nobody here to help me. I'm out there.
Yeah.
I usually go out. For me, I go out Sunday morning early before church, and I trim their feet, and I put the shoes on them if they need it. Depending on the season. And so I've had to teach my horses to stand still for me, and not fidget, not pull their legs away from me, not run around. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, with different horses, it's been a different learning experience. I've got one little girl that I just have to take the lead rope and lunge her, and when she stands still, I'll pick her up, and if she starts to move again, I lunge her again, and after 2 or 3 lunges, she says, "Okay, I get it," and she stops, and we get the job done. I have
Yeah.
others that if I give them a horse treat, they stand still. If I don't give them a horse treat, they fidget all over the place. So sometimes I have a pocket of cubes, that I'm just, all right, you were good for 1 foot. Here's your treat, and I'll move to the next foot. But it's like I said, each horse is individual. But I've had to do somewhat the same thing. You got to calm them down first. I've taken them away from their buddies. I brought them out of the corral.
Yeah.
Their friends are all standing at the gate talking to them, and it's like, no, you listen to me now. You and me are talking here and have a conversation.
I love it. Yeah, if we don't build that connection, John, or if we don't take some time to do something, to start building this connection and build this calmness or this relaxing, then yeah, our horse just gets that upregulation. They kind of can get stuck up on the top part of that threshold to where they're just anxious and they're nervous. And then the littlest things that might not be a problem normally, that the ATV can ride by, that ATV can go by all the time during the day when the horse is calm and it doesn't cause a single thing. But the one time when we've got the horses kind of upregulated, and if you're underneath it, and then that ATV comes around the corner, maybe she kind of hops or moves, or any of our horses. So yeah, building that, having that connection. And that time in the video, I took 15 minutes, from the first part of the video when I just kind of went in and tried to do the work. I took 15 minutes was the time there, and I just rubbed down her legs and just got her comfortable with me being all around her body and touching all over the place. And so that way I could, hand her off to a farrier to somebody to trim her feet. And she's already kind of got that connection or got that softness. She's already relaxed some. So yeah, I'm with you, John. If we take the time, and like you're saying, you're doing that at home for yourself, practicing doing that. And I'm sure you didn't, it's taken some time to build that up. You've done some practice sessions, or you went out and had some weren't very good to start.
I started when they were 3 months old because all my horses have been raised here at the house. So it's
There
been
you
their
go.
entire life. But I'll expand upon that. I mean, I was out down Little Island yesterday, and I took one horse. So he's looking for buddies. He's by himself.
Yeah.
He's tied to the trailer. I was the first one there, and nobody else was there. My other friends were not there yet. But he's dancing back and forth on the rope, trying to see around the trailer. Where's everybody else? And another person or two showed up that were not with me, who got in the saddles and rode off. And he's like, "Why aren't we going with them?" And so I got a very herd-bound, anxious horse there that's looking for buddies. And I'm like, okay, I really ought to go over and do something to get him to calm down here for a minute. But the easy thing is for your friend to pull up, just to take him over and park him next to your friend.
Yeah.
So he's got another horse next to him. But the learning experience is, let's deregulate while you're standing where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Great example, John. And I that happens a lot. I'm sure that many of us can share that, going out on that trail ride, like you say, you take the horse away from home. So now he's missing his buddies at home, and you're out at the trailhead and maybe nobody's there, or if somebody is there, they're far away, and your horse is like, "Hey, I want to, why I'm over here all alone." And that separation, that anxiety from that separation is, there's actually a neurochemical for it called oxytocin. And when the horses are together, when they're they're herd animals. And so when they're together, they feel very comfortable and they feel bonded and kind of paired together. And that's this oxytocin is the neurochemical that creates that safety in numbers, that bonding and pairing together. And so when we take the horse away from our friends, or like, mine in the video, I took her away from her stallmate and just went down 10 stalls on the other side of the trailer. And you saw as soon as she left, right? As soon as
Yep.
I walked the trailer, she's like, oh boy, I'm missing my buddy. And so that's an oxytocin withdrawal. They start to feel the withdrawal. And so the safety starts to dissipate. It starts to go away. Upregulation starts to happen. They start getting cautious and concerned. So what we can do, John, or what I did in that 15 minutes, and what you do at home when you're just hanging around your horse and taking a few minutes to kind of connect with them. If we can connect, so I just kind of rubbed and touched around her and just hung out with her and got her relaxed. We're creating that oxytocin chemical with me. I'm now the new herd. You're here with me and we're going to relax together instead of being with the herd and being together. So we can build this oxytocin, this connection with our horses, with us. So if we have horses that are, herd bound, or they kind of get that separation anxiety, that just means that they just need a buddy. They just need somebody to connect with. So if we can take that time and have some tools to just kind of help them relax and then feel comfortable with us, man, everything can go a whole bunch better. Even if we're out, riding alone, take that time and get that connection together to where you can ride off together instead of riding off two separate kind of people or two separate beings there. But awesome, John. I agree totally. Like, get some time together. And as we practice that, we do that in real life every day, then under pressure, we can have that. You can, like you say, out at the trailhead by yourself, you can do some things. You can go and hang out with him and give him a hay cube and kind of be there and start to soothe that anxiety and bring that back down so that we can have a safe experience together. Thank you, John. Appreciate you being on and sharing with me, my friend.
Well, glad to be here. Don't want to monopolize the time with somebody else.
Yeah. Who else? Anybody else want to jump on and say a little something? Say hi to me. I want to
I've
say
got
hi.
a question.
So here we go. Lauren, talk to me, Lauren.
So, when
Do you
you
turn
were
your camera on,
rubbing,
Lauren? Would you feel okay turning your camera on where we can see you?
oh, I'm watching this on my big brother's TV, so it doesn't have a camera.
Okay. Awesome. Talk to me then, Lauren.
So when you were rubbing that horse's leg and it kept picking it up, in that case, it wasn't anxiety driven, but in a calmer horse, could you just like bend down, rub that leg, get to some point, and they'd pick it up as the cue?
Yes. So yes, Lauren, that I like to rub all the way down the leg to the ground and be able to do that 3 times before I ask to raise the leg. And so that's just me kind of checking in, because if the horse is kind of triggery about me touching, I want to smooth all that out and then make a very specific request. So my specific request to lift your foot is I'll give a little clucking sound, and then I'll just kind of tap on the inside of the leg. So cluck, tap, cluck, tap. And so between the audible and then the touch, like that's what I want the cue to be, is the audible and then just a little light tap. And so, I'll teach them that, but I want to be able to rub my hand down without that leg coming up. That's just kind of way that I use to read whether they're anxious or not. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and just getting them used to your touch. Like if you touch the leg on the outside to the ground 3 times, and then on the inside of the leg to the ground 3 times, your horse is pretty clear, like, okay, my leg, that's where all the attention is. Everything's at the leg. They can relax a little bit. And then when we ask for them to pick that leg up, they can do it just nice and calm. They're relaxed. They're more likely to stand still. They're less likely to be leaning on you. They'll just be comfortable while we're doing that work.
Okay, then I don't want to take up too much time. So with the saying, is there a way to give them? So we have draft horses,
Yes, I
and
do.
we often, we wouldn't stick the Ferrier under anything we wouldn't crawl under ourselves. But we find a lot of Ferriers refuse to come trim our draft horses because of their tendency to get to leaning. Is there a way that you can manage that to maybe make the Ferrier actually want to trim our horses?
Right, Lauren. Right. Big draft horses. That can be work in itself, and then let alone have one that's kind of leaning on you or something that way. So just working with them, Laura, I might take with a big horse like that and use a hoof jack, you know, just kind of set it underneath there and hold that. Is that kind of what you guys do?
Well, we have those easy trim jacks, I think they're called. It
Okay.
looks like a like like they can set their foot on it, or it's got a cradle and you can cradle their foot
Yeah.
on it.
Yep. Yep. The thing, yeah, I love using other tools like that to help hold if they're big or if they do kind of lean, but it's really learn about getting them. The more relaxed your horse is for that process, the less likely they're trying to get out of that process by either moving their feet or, you know, leaning into the pressure, because that's kind of the horse's natural response, is to lean into pressure. So when we pick the leg up, they're kind of leaning into it because they're like, I'm uncomfortable about that. And they're just trying to lean to get that release. So the calmer the horse can be. So breaking it down into a lot of small pieces would be helpful, Lauren, to where, you know, maybe you just ask your horse to pick its foot up and you just hold it for 5 seconds and then set it back down. Pick it up and then hold
Okay.
it for 15 seconds and then set it back down. And, you know, just build that to where the horse kind of really has a sequence of, this is okay for me to give up a leg, you know, to give up part of its ability to move. The calmer they are, the less they lean, the less they're pulling on you. You know, they're not lifting you up off of the ground with that front foot trying to move you around. And it's all about the calmness, Lauren, for sure. So practice doing it slow. Like, the slower you do it a few times, the faster you can do it the next time. But we got to do it slow first. Like, really let the horse really come into the comfort and the safety of it. Then we can go in there and pick it up and kind of get some work done. That's what I suggest to you, just right here on the call like that.
Yeah, because I never considered that. We always considered the lean, and maybe it's just they're so big. Losing that foot, they think, oh, I can lean on this. But if it's actually like the anxiety of, oh, I don't have a foot, where's my foot?
Yeah, and then they lean into it, like, you know, if you they'll lean into pressure first, you know, to lean in and kind of fight their way out. Like, if something attacks a horse, you see them turn into it, and, you know, they fight and they fight into it and then flee away from it. So they're just kind of leaning into it to try to push the pressure away, what they're feeling, and then the next thing is they'll try to leave. So the more relaxed they are mentally, the safer their body is to handle, for sure, all the way around. So take a look at doing some relaxing things, Lauren. I'd be happy to chat with you if you want to reach out to me, but breaking the whole thing into many small pieces is my best suggestion. Just pick it up and hold it for 5 seconds, and then 20 seconds, and then 30, and then hold it for a minute, and just letting your horse feel that it's safe and that nothing's going on, and then just build on that.
Okay, that can make sense.
Awesome. Well, Lauren, love hearing your voice, and I look forward to seeing you sometime. Next time I get out to Durango, I'll make dang sure I look you and your dad up and we come out and hang out and talk horses or do something.
Yeah. You can't see me, but I'm giving thumbs up.
I know you are, Lauren. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Let's have at least one more. Somebody else want to jump on and just say hi for a minute? Any Ferrier stories or thoughts or experiences?
Hello.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go
Tiffany.
Yes, Tiffany, Sophie.
Tiffany's over there. Okay.
For
Yeah.
hanging out. So I was wondering what you would say. I have 2 horses right now that are really bad with their feet, just in general, much less for a farrier. One hasn't been trimmed.
Well, he knows the name.
Well, one is Angus, right?
Which probably doesn't surprise you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to pick a little bit on part of this. Yes.
Yes. And then one is a little scrawny fella named Finn who just hasn't been trimmed in like ages because we can't get him to pick his feet up. And Finn kind of like runs away from you trying to pick his back feet
Yeah.
up, and Angus just doesn't.
Yeah.
And Angus, we actually tried drugging, but then we had a horse that was falling down and still wouldn't pick up his feet.
Oh gosh, right. It's you kind of get the other side of it, like the sedation can work if we get the balance right, but if it's too much, then they're just like so
Yeah.
out of it they can't even comprehend what you're
Mhm.
doing. Oh,
So with the both of them, you know, I have some tools at my disposal when I have a horse that'll pick their feet up and then kick out at you, or will pick their feet up and then try and like yank it away.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of at a loss for what to do for a horse that like the point we're stuck at is getting the hoof off the ground.
Yeah. Yep. And that's a real thing. And I like to ask questions, you know, in a thought too, like, why would the horse, you know, not want to lift his foot off of the ground? And, you know, not that we're going to know, we can't like
Yeah.
get in their head and know, but I'm going to bet my money on that the horse doesn't feel safe, right? That the horse is feeling that anxiousness. And it's like, I'm already tense and worried. I'm already kind of in flight mode. No way am I going to give up my ability to move. You know, I'm already not liking even just kind of standing still. So there's no way I'm going to let this foot come off of the ground and have somebody get a hold of my foot. So relaxing and helping that horse to come down. Now, you guys were in my online training course. I've got some videos on handling horses' feet. So I will go and add those and make sure you guys can still get some access to those, because I've got a video section on how to handle, get your horse to where they can pick their feet up for you. Because that's, you're right on the point that if you have to go down and pull that foot, or, you know, grab a hold of it, or, you know, yank or pull the hair, or, you know, you're really using some mechanical force or really trying to lift that foot, we're too far. You know, the horse is already way into resistance,
Yeah.
into the no answer, and we want to get him onto the yes answer. So,
Well, and you know, Angus is so huge, and he just all of his weight in all 4 feet, and you know,
Yeah.
he just stands there like, what are you going to do?
yep. And so getting this cue built in is a big part of it. But before we build the cue, we've got to relax any anxiety, because, right, our horses aren't learning. If they're anxious and stressed, they're not going to learn the cue. They're not going to feel comfortable with that. So getting that down. Now, Angus, he's pretty, I would say, pretty relaxed. So he's probably at a point where you could start building that cue with him and help him be better at it. But this other horse, the one that's moving away and lifting and pulling, that horse, we've got to get relaxed, standing still, you know, with you standing at the front leg and standing at the hip. And then in that video series that I'm going to hook you up with, you rub your hand down the outside of the leg, clear to the ground 3 times. And so if you're rubbing your hand down and they pick the foot up, you just keep rubbing until they leave the foot on the ground, and then release and come out, let them lick and chew. Because it's that touch trigger. If they're moving off of just your touch, that's the anxiety talking. That's the anxiousness inside the horse saying, don't take my foot. No, I don't want you to hold my foot. You know, they're picking it up and hiding it and moving away. That's fear.
Sure. So if they pick it up before you do the 3 times, don't accept the foot. Like,
I just keep rubbing, and I might even just be rubbing the air because they got the foot up and they're moving it, and I just sit and rub and just touch their leg, and I want them to put that foot on the ground and have me rub all the way down from the shoulder down to the hoof and actually touch the dirt and then go up again. When you can do that 3 times without them lifting their leg, now it's time to start thinking about teaching them the cue.
okay.
If that's not happening, that's the first big red flag that I would work on. Like, I don't want to try to hold the feet until the horse can give it to me. You know, because if they're pulling it away, they're just going to struggle the whole time you've got a hold of it. They're just trying to get away, and they're going to be moving, and they're going to be leaning on you, and they're going to be pulling and kicking out at you. So, like you're saying, you know, all of those things.
And then everybody's mad.
Yes, and then it's like, oh, I got this horse. Like, all we want to do is trim your feet. Like, you'll love it when it's done. But, right, our horses can't logically think. They can't reason and go,
Right.
oh, you're here to have my feet feel better and to take all this. You know, they can't. They got one question: am I safe? And if the answer is no in their system, then they're going to resist. And if you get the answer to yes in their system, then they'll respond. You know, then we can ask for the foot and they'll give it to us. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you guys. So Cammie, will you write a note down to make sure I give you guys a link to that foot handling video? Because I'd love you. That'd be a great video series for you guys to work through with that horse that's moving away specifically and work on that. So awesome. Thank you. Hey, while we're right here, I love one more person to jump on and say hi. and let's chat a little bit. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to throw up
When you're
Hey.
ready.
a link in the chat to my calendar page. If anybody would like to set up an appointment and talk with me about getting into my coaching program or something specific about your horse, on maybe some videos or some coaching or something to help out with that, click that link and you can schedule a time. We'll get on a Zoom call like this and tell me everything, man. Tell me what's going on, and we'll come up with a game plan to help you and your horse, get something working much, much better. So, all right, that link's in the chat. But anybody else got a question or a thought or a comment or something?
I do.
Okay.
Joanne.
Joanne
Um,
Osborne. Joanne, I don't think I know you, right?
Oh, I'm a stalker.
Oh, you're a stalker. You're a stalker. Oh, good. Talk to me. Talk to me. Where are you from, Joanne?
Tennessee
Oh, awesome. Well,
at the moment. Anyways, we've only been here about a year.
Oh.
And yeah, the snow here.
it's
You
not
know,
your favorite?
No, my husband's been real good about going out and doing all the chores. So, we're finally getting some warmer weather, and it's supposed to rain all week. So
Ah,
like we're going from snow to rain to a lot of mud.
and then you'll have the mud. Don't we all just love the mud?
the
Lord
mud,
real.
the mud. But okay, so I have two geldings that are around 13, right? And they're out in pasture 24/7. They have a run in, they can do their own thing, whatever. But we have a barn where the farrier, the vets, all that can do their work because it's shaded. I mean, it's three-sided. The horses can see out, but it's warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
horses hate it. hate it. And so I've tried all kinds of things. I've tried, one extreme to the other, feeding them in there, letting them hang out, whatever. But I'm like, going into that, that old school, well, we'll just tie them up in there and leave them in there for 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm not really saying that, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do about it to make them calmer in there.
Yeah.
Because that's where the work has to be done.
Yep.
And basically, it's like I'm trying to get my professionals and my horses all on the same page. And in the meantime, my stress levels going up. So I have it where they can see each other. Like if one is in, they can't both be in because it's like a 2-stall barn, but the stalls are filled to the brim with hay because we're in winter. So
Gotcha.
there's like hay. So I think that's where a lot of the problem is. They just don't stand still.
Yeah.
When they're in there, they don't stand still. So they're doing this back and forth, back because they're in cross ties, but back because if they're not in cross ties, then we're doing circles and we're
Yeah.
doing crazy things. And the farrier's got his hoof stand and his
All the
little
stuff.
cart
Yeah.
with all the things. One of my horses is barefoot, one is half shod. So
Okay.
we're having to have to drug the one to get shoes on him because that's just there's no way he's going to stand for that.
Gotcha.
And he's already like his front feet, he's like lifted the farrier up and tossed him with the leg.
Yeah. I've been tossed a few times. Yeah.
And it's like the location, and then when I do it, when I trim their feet, the one that has half shoes, this is only the second round. Of course, it's this week, but he'll stand for me.
Yeah.
So he's good better for me than he is for the farrier, and my other horse is better for the farrier than he is for me. So it's like this whole, can you hear my frustration in the whole?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yes. I hear what you're saying, and you like checked all of the boxes of like a lot of the things that I was talking about for the farrier. I'm glad you're on the call because I was like, well, there it is. You're experiencing a lot of that.
yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. And you're the main point that you said in your conversation right there, they can't stand still. Like that's the root. Like that's the thing. But then we got to ask ourselves, like, like why not? Why can't they hold still? And so in asking the question, I love to ask why questions to help me get to the solution of what we're going to work on. But why they can't stand still is that their internal system has got just the anxiety, right? I don't know if it's fear or just the anxiousness of being away from their buddy, or it's just the anxiousness of being in that new spot. Their internal system just upregulates naturally because there's not anything else in place yet to change that. So their autonomic system, Joanne, when horses get stressed and anxious, what do you think Mother Nature's answer is to solve that problem every single time? What would Mother Nature's answer be that is just the guaranteed win for a horse?
Fight or flight.
Yeah. If you're feeling anxious and nervous, move your feet. Right? Because the horse can't cognitively sit there and be like, man, this is a pretty cool barn. Like, this is okay. Look at all that hay. Like, why the hell wouldn't I want to hang out here? And look, I'm out of the sun or I'm out of the rain. Like, this is a cool place to hang out. Like, cognitively, they can't work that way. They're just in a place away from their friends or away from their other safety. So that starts raising the question of, am I safe? Starts to become no, right? The higher they get up, the more the no answer. And as soon as that answer becomes no, that's when the feet start to move, because Mother Nature's just kicking in and saying, well, if you're not safe, move, because that solves the problem out in nature. Like, if you're not safe standing here, move somewhere else, go buy other horses or leave this area, run away, go somewhere else. And so that's what's going on of why the feet are moving is the internal system. It's not what's going on around them. What's going on around them triggers the system to upregulate, and then that starts the feet to move. So Joanne, getting your horse to relax, having these relaxing exercises, having something that they can connect with you and get that connection and that feel good, and then come down with you. You're the source of the connection. You're the source of relaxing and getting them to do that. So yeah, the next question you want to know, well, yeah, sure, Wes, that sounds freaking awesome. How do I do that? Right? Like, what do I do? But there's some very simple thing. I'll leave you this, but Joanne, we should talk more because there's a lot going on, and there's not just an easy answer that I'm going to be able to share with you. Other than what needs to start happening is getting your horses to be able to stand still. And so getting them to stand still, we stop them from walking forward without our invitation. And so we do that by backing our horse up. And so if we can back your horse up, every time they walk forward without your invitation, so you just go stand there and look at your horse and just wait, and they're going to get anxious and they'll start walking. Back up, correct that and back them up and let them stand and relax. They walk forward, back them up, 3 steps, let them relax. It's kind of breaking that neural network that says leave for safety. And we're going to start changing that to say stay for safety, hold still for safety instead of leave for safety. Mother Nature says leave, we need them to stand still. So getting that chemical change happening on the inside of the horse to where they can feel safe by standing still. So that's.
Are you saying do that for like as long as it takes?
Yeah.
So we're talking hours on this one.
Yes, but it could be in some short experiences. So you could go out and do this for a half hour and you're going to get whatever results you get, right? It's not going to be perfect, but in a half hour, you're going to get started.
Okay.
The next time you go out and you do it again for a half hour, it'll get a little better. But ultimately, Joanne, what the beginning of we got to find the core root, right? Getting down to what's the smallest little thing and fix that. And we fix enough little things, we fix the big thing. So the little thing is getting them to stand still. So doing that over and over and over to where they can stand still and relax. And what you want to watch for, Joanne, when you back them up, right? They're going to stand there, watch for them. They'll start lowering their head. You'll see their ears start to just lay back and be a little soft, and watch for them to take a big breath and lick and chew. The more times your horse can be standing still and lick and chew with you after you kind of correct them, you're changing this behavior. It's a behavior modification that needs to happen, not necessarily training a horse to stand still.
Where is the end of session?
Anything like after anything other than him walking forward. Like if he walked forward and you're like, oh, damn it, that's it, I'm putting him up. That would be wrong.
Yeah.
That would be what we don't want to do. But he could walk forward and you could back him up and get him to stand still. And maybe he just stands still for 30 seconds. You could take that as a win and be like, okay, that's all I have for right now. I can't take any more of this. You know, my mind's already fried. I've been asking you to back up for 30 minutes. You stood still for 30 seconds. Great. Let me take the halter off. Let's call it a day.
Okay.
'Cause
What do you think about cross ties? No? Yes.
I'm no, because I got to ask, why are we using cross ties? Well, because our horse is always turning its head and walking around and walking around and walking around. Why is our horse doing that? Because our horse doesn't feel safe.
Okay.
If
I'm sorry, if put yourself in the farrier shoes, do they want to be any part of this training at all? Do they want a heads up? Do they want to be paid more? Do they just want to say, you know what, lady, go find yourself another guy? You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
I would say some farriers are all of those things, Joanne, but ultimately, like I view it at the end of the day, it is not the farrier's job to put up with my horse's crap. It's just not.
I agree, but at some point there has to be a crossover between.
Yes, and so some farriers, and if it would take some time, because you helping like one of your horses, helping them to stand still is going to take a few sessions. It's not going to happen one time in 1 hour.
No.
You might get to that point in 1 hour, but it's not part of their default network. It's not part of how they behave. It was one time, like, okay, now we got to get 1 time stacked on top of 5 times. And now we've got something to work with. So some farriers I've heard will do that. They'll be like, well, let's do a training session first. I'm going to charge you a little bit extra and I'll spend 30 minutes kind of working with your horse and help them relax. That could be beneficial if it's the right approach. I've seen a lot of farriers, throw a rope around a horse's foot and winch it onto the back of the truck and pull that leg out and do it. And I'm like, that's the horriblest way you could do that. That will just traumatize that horse, that every time the farrier shows up, he's like, bring on the fight, cowboy, let's go.
Yeah, that's part of the not problem, but whatever is living in BFE, Tennessee. It's like not living in Southern California where you have your pick and choose,
Yeah. Well, Joanne, I want you to know
But
that,
thank you. I appreciate that.
yes, and what I want you to know, Joanne, is that you can help your horses. Like it doesn't take, we don't need to have a trainer do this work. This is stuff that the everyday horse owner can do. We just got to have a system, a start to finish system, a way to do it that works for the horse, that can help them out with that. So, Joanne, that's something, dude, you'd be a great candidate to talk to me. So if you want to jump
Okay.
on that link and set up a time where we could talk,
Is that going to be at the bottom in your info on this thing here? Where do I find that link?
Right in the chat window. Has anybody else seen it in the chat window? I can see it, but Cammie says she doesn't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't
all
see
right.
a link, and I can only directly message. Oh, it has just switched to now I can see everyone, but it hasn't been like that the whole meeting. Oh, there it is.
Oh, I see what I did. I sent it. I only sent the link to John Tanner. I just see what I did. I just fixed it. So it's in the chat. Can you see it in there now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So what we could do there, Joanne, we just kind of flesh this out and talk about kind of what we have here, but like, how do we get a game plan to do this? And I can talk you through a lot more about that. And then if that game plan, if it works, to have me be involved and help you out, then we can talk about that too. But I want to get you some tools that you can do something to start making that change, because you can do it.
I appreciate that.
And it's easy work. We don't need to be cowboy out there. We don't need to, be Western and have dust and ropes and all kinds of stuff. It's quiet, soft, easy communication that the horse understands. We got to talk at the horse's language, not at our language. That's the biggest thing I've learned in 15 years of working with these wild horses. We got to do it at their language and time, not ours.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It seems like, the more you learn, the more you find out you don't know.
100%.
And it's just like, my brain is just like, I have too much knowledge, and what happened? When I didn't know anything, it was a lot simpler. And now it's just
I'm with you, Joanne. We don't know what we don't know. And that can be the scary part. And that also can be the intriguing part, because I'm 15 years into this full time, and I'm still like, man, I just learned something today. Holy cow. I didn't know that, or the horse will show or teach me something else. And I'm like, wow, that was a depth that no way could I have seen that, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but I could today. And you can just do what you're doing from where you're at today, but more knowledge and more experience, you get better. I got one quote that I'll throw out and leave with everybody. And we kind of keep talking a little bit, but we're at our hour mark. But Joanne, the better that you are at handling horses, the better horses you will handle. And I mean that to everybody. Us handlers set up our horses for the experiences that we're having. Bottom line, 100%. The better we are at handling the horses, the better horses we will have. That's just it. So awesome. Anybody else want to jump on? We're at the hour mark, and I love sticking to my time frame as much as I can, but I'll chat. But if anybody else want to say anything, or if you want to take off and go for it. But I take one more little thought if somebody's got one.
I got one question.
Oh, my buddy Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's been through our coaching program too. Mike, what's your favorite quote that you have with working with me with horses? What's your favorite quote?
My favorite, or the one that sticks out the most?
Both, either one, dude.
Oh, the one I think I coined, slow down faster, get done sooner.
Yep, I think we made that up because of you, dude. I think so. I love it.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Mike. What's up, buddy?
Well, about last week, if they're being recorded, is there a place to go back and listen to it, or?
There is, Mike. There is. And that's available when I remember to click on the dang record button.
Oh, okay.
And that didn't happen last week. It did this week. And so I'm going to post these somewhere. I don't know. I put them on my YouTube. I think it's just a fun conversation worth having to share with people. So watch for it on my YouTube, Mike. I'll upload this and put it on my YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But last week was supposed to be recorded, and guess what? I'm like 3/4 of the way through, and I look and I notice like I forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
And then I said, that's what learning feels like right there.
Pain is a great teacher, right?
That's right. That was it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I think the connection one is huge.
That makes sense to you? It's kind of in talking through that, seeing that today.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of up with some questions, but they kind of answered them as we went along. So.
Wow. Thank you. You guys, I've really taking a look at this connection and this awareness of the two beings being together, horse and human. The more we're aware and connected together, the calmer, the better things go, the better we can read our horses, the better we can feel things and tightness, or we're just much more in this symbiotic relationship. We're together as a partnership versus two separate beings having an experience together. Now we're not communicating, and that happens a lot. Like our horses actually tune out from us, they will ignore us if they can't connect with us. So if we're not doing exercises to build connection, then by default, the horses kind of just disconnect because there's not a two-way street there. There's not a conversation. And so and then that in itself starts to create caution because now, you're hanging out with somebody that you can't even talk to. How comfortable does that feel? I mean, if you met a complete stranger and went to dinner, but you couldn't even talk to each other, how awkward would that be all the way through dinner? You're just sitting there like, the hell?
Yeah. I was kind of noticing like when you're doing with India on the meditation, I mean, all you do is kind of like think about it and raise your hand.
Yeah.
And she's already like dropping her head even before you
Yeah.
get your hand on her.
Yeah. That'd be a great tool for, well, any of you working with your horse, that meditation. And you guys didn't, well, I have to do a video. That'd be a fun topic to do on that, is just how to do this meditation together with your horse that Mike's talking about. But yeah, it's a deep tool to really get your horse to relax and connect with you. So it is a valuable tool, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
All right, you guys. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks, John. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to do again next week. We're going to do, I think my topic's going to be on trailering, trailer loading, kind of handling in the trailer. And so I'm going to go out and shoot some video on that tomorrow, and I'll have that ready to go for next week. But love to have you guys jump on. I love getting to talk with you and hang out. I got to meet some new people. I got to meet Joanne tonight. Thank you, Joanne, for being on the call and visiting. And I got to visit with some old friends, Mike, John, Lauren. Thank you guys. Tiffany, Sophie, you guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And spread the word, man. Look forward to talking to you.
All right. Good night.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Wes. Thanks, Wes.
Enjoy your night, guys.
Chat with you for a second.
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah, talk to me.
Okay. Oh, I know we chat about foot stuff, but I've got a new archery horse that I'm training that I had some questions about.
Yeah, talk to me.
So what we're working on really right now is the audio triggers that she's experiencing from like the arrow hitting the target, that thump noise,
Yep. Okay.
that twang noise from the bow,
Yep.
And we've just been doing a lot of work where we just shoot, and sometimes she'll be good, and then sometimes she just gets a little cautious and wants to back up.
Mm-hmm.
Is the method of keep going, just keep shooting around her and just keep making positive exposures?
Yes, that
Or
is
is
all.
there other ways we can go about it?
I'll throw you a couple ideas, Lauren, and you do some experiments because you're such a dang good horsewoman, Lauren. So I know you'll go have some fun with this, and you'll find something. You still got your round pen set up?
Yeah.
Awesome. Try this. This is an idea. You decide what you think this might fit. So imagine you're riding in the round pen and just get your horse kind of going at a trot to where she's just trotting pretty steady. And you just keep her at that trot, and then take some tools or something with you that you can have in your hands that you can kind of make some noises with. Like maybe, even just clapping, like just trot and just see if that kind of triggers her and gets her to have that, that little tightness or that little bit. Just doing that in a rhythm, just doing that while you're working, doing it while you're at a trot and letting her mind just come down to it, getting her to relax. Does that make sense? She can work, but the noise just kind of stays, just trot and just clap in cadence. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because I haven't shot off on top of her yet. We're still working on the ground till I can really build her confidence.
Yes. So if you were doing that, because it's a sound trigger is what you're experiencing. And so it doesn't matter whether the sound is, from the string release or, the thud of the arrow hitting the target. It's just a sound trigger that she just hasn't conditioned herself for. So the more sounds you can kind of make while she's working, have her trotting, kind of relaxed, and just do that clap. You might feel her get kind of tight. She might go faster, but just keep letting her work. Just keep with the clap. And when you feel her really relax and the clapping isn't triggering her anymore, then relax and stop clapping. And, maybe you even relax down to a walk and just let her take a nice little break. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it maybe
keep going.
Would it maybe get to a point where I'll ride her and we're doing our thing where Dad's maybe outside the round pen shooting, and every time we go by, he releases an arrow?
That was my exact next thing to say, Lauren. See, I knew your brain, I knew you're on this, girl. That's exactly what I was going to say, is have the target on the outside of the round pin. Dad doesn't even need to shoot an arrow at it. He can just take a stick and just thump it and thump it. And you riding in the saddle, every time you ride by the target, just act like you got your archery equipment, just draw back and release and have Dad smack the target. Just getting her used to this sound consistently. You need to do it a lot of times to where she can just down regulate herself. She can just turn that sound trigger down and it won't be so fiery to her.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and just or Dad could be out there just tapping that target in rhythm, just thunk, 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 and just let her find the rhythm. It's really let them find the rhythm of it, and then you can start adding in a little bit of random, thunk, thunk, get it out of rhythm, but get her used to it first with a bit of a rhythm. Horses, they love rhythm. I mean, it's how they move. They move in rhythm with everything. So an audible rhythm will absorb easier than one that's way out of, no rhythm at all.
So maybe even like taking a jingle bell and putting it on my saddle.
Yep. And hold it in your hand just so you can turn it on and turn it off. Make sure you can turn the sound on and off, Lauren. I wouldn't want you to put something on your saddle that you can't turn off, because if she gets, too upregulated, how do you make the sound go away?
That
we
makes
were able to
sense.
bring it back down and then bring it back up. So jingle, jingle, and then rest. Jingle, 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 jingle. You can do all that while you're working and moving around. And get her doing it on the ground where you're just standing still. Back up and stand still and just play with those noises.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, I want to update, Lauren, because I know you're going to go work on this probably first thing as soon as you can. So I want an
Yeah.
update.
We're going to the nice riding center up the road soon
Okay.
because it's too muddy to walk out here.
Yeah. Well, love it. Give me an update. Thanks for being on the call, Lauren, and feel free to jump on the call and reach out to me if you need anything, kid.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lauren. Tell everybody hi out there for me.
I will. See you later.
All right. Thanks. Bye.